one final video. I was digging around in my room looking for the box for this knife and I can't find it. But there's a reason why I want to do this video, because it is uh, pretty much related to the next video that I'll do next week on that new knife called the Coral. Because this knife here, which is called the WEKNIVES Solid, is based off of it. This is made by knife designer Gus T. Ciccini, I believe, and this is a very unique knife. Number one, this knife is an integral, meaning it's all one solid piece of titanium. Basically, that means this is a very expensive knife for production. I can't find the box for it, but yeah. Anyway, this knife is very well known because it's got what's called the SLT deployment, spring-loaded tab. Basically, you get this, if you could see this up close, you get this little flipper tab here with the springs. You know, it sort of springs back like that. That's the attraction for this entire knife. That plus the fact that it's all one piece. Those are the two real reasons to get this knife, just for that alone. But this is called the spring-loaded tab. This is nothing really new. ZT did this years ago on one of their models, but Gus Ciccini improved on it with the WEKNIVES Solid, and it is practically flawless. The one that they had was ZT. I can't remember the model name of that one, but there was a point where you would sit there and try and press down on the spring lever where you'd get it to about this point, and then you'd have to kind of, there was something about the way that it was designed that if you didn't grab it in the right spot, it wouldn't pop out as easily as that. Well, since then, they came out with this knife, which is designed also by Gus Ciccini. He's improved on the spring-loaded tab mechanism, so now it works on spec. So basically the way it works is this. You've got this spring-loaded tab here, which is flat up against the knife, so there's nothing pecking at your pocket when you put this in your pocket. Granted, the fact that this is a large knife, we'll do size comparisons and the specs in a second. I just want to talk about it. They've made it possible for the knife to be deployed pretty much with a hidden flipper design, which is what SLT is for, spring-loaded tab. So basically, the way it works is kind of like a charger on a gun. This would be considered your trigger. You pull back on it, and then load it up, and so basically the best way to describe it is this would be loading it up. You get it to about this point, and then the bottom part of the spring-loaded tab is pushing up against the blade itself, so that when you reach this point, you press down on it, and then the spring-loaded tab completely disappears to the front of the blade, nice and recessed, and you can see it right there. That's it right there. So it allows you to have a flipper knife without it being a flipper. I mean, is this a gimmick? I don't know, but I think it's a pretty genius form of deployment as opposed to a regular flipper, which would stick out to about there on any knife. And yeah, depending on how much you don't like flipper knives or like flipper knives, this knife may interest you because you have the ability to flip the knife as a flipper while maintaining the flipper to be hidden and out of the way. And all you see is that little nub sticking out at the top, which isn't even really much of a bother. The entire knife is one-piece construction. We've got a CV20 blade with a compound grind. There's a lot of stuff I leave out. Compound grind on it. Really nice. So it's been built so you can do all types of cutting with this. CV20 blade on it. Very well done. Feels really nice in the hand. Hot spot. Eh. I mean, you feel the pocket clip into your hand, but not where it's a bother if you were to be grabbing on it really tight. In fact, it's quite comfortable, but you know it's there. Is that the best way I can put it? Unlike most other knives, as far as ergos go, yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. It's not uncomfortable at all, but the pocket clip, you can feel that it is in your hand, and it doesn't take away from a hard use grip if you needed to. The fact that this is all one solid piece versus a knife where you've got two halves sandwiched together makes this knife real easy to take apart. Basically, you just unscrew this, take out the blade and the ball bearing system inside. This runs on ceramic ball bearings. You can clean this knife fairly easily, so there's a lot of pluses here. Aesthetically interesting. Here's the relief cut, but here's what's weird. I don't see this on very many knives. You don't have one relief cut, you got two. One on the frame lock side and one on the front side. This one here I don't think is really necessary, but this one, yeah, you see this on all the knives here, so on most of your knives. But why they put it on both sides of the knife, I guess it would be for aesthetic reasons, I'm guessing. But yeah, nice pocket clip, not deep carry, so it'll stick out of your pocket probably like right about that much, which is fine. But then again, deep pocket clips are something that people like. I personally believe that a knife shouldn't be so concealed that you can't even draw the damn thing. That's when it gets a little bit ridiculous. But they are what they are, and certain knife designers will put a knife pocket clip and place it a certain way based on preference for general consumption and what they feel is considered an artistic integrity, if you want to look at it that way. As long as the pocket clip is functional, that's all that matters. This is a really, really large knife, so let's just get into the specs, and then I'll do size comparisons, and then I'll close this video out real quickly. So the overall length of this knife is close to 9 inches, coming in at 8.97 inches. The overall width is 1.44. Blade length, this is close to a 4-inch blade, coming in at 3.88 inches overall. The knife weight is 5.92 ounces. That's pretty heavy for a knife. 5.92 ounces. CPM 20 CV blade with a hardness of 58 to 60 RCH. The grind is flat. You've got a compound grind, modified spear point, and it's in black stonewash. Really great action on this knife. Because it does fall shut very easily. And it's got that really nice thwacky sound to it. Finish on the blade is bronze. We got a bronze finish on this guy. So size comparisons real quick. Here it is up against the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. As you can see, this knife is much larger. I'll hold it up this way so you guys can see. Yeah, so you can see that the knife is much, much larger than the Paramilitary 2, coming in at 3.4 inches. This is coming in at 3.88. It's close to a 4-inch blade. This is definitely an all titanium use, hard use knife. So there it is up against the Paramilitary. How about the Spyderco Sage? There it is up against the Spyderco Sage, a medium-sized knife. How about a smaller blade? The Benchmade Mini Bug Out. So real small. And then for size comparisons, we're going to put it up against the small, medium, and large. So considering that this is at an angle, this is small, this is medium, and here is your large size. So you can see it's a really big freaking knife. So that's it for your size comparisons. If you're somebody that's looking for a brand new blade to replace your old one, and your old blade is a high-end knife and you want something new, I think this is a really great choice. If you want a knife that's huge, big, and all in one piece, this is definitely a winner. The reason I brought this knife out is because the WEKNIVES Coral, which is this almost the same knife except for the fact that it's not integral. It does have the spring-loaded tab, is a much smaller knife. You're gonna see that one next week, and I just wanted to bring this knife out so that you could get an idea of what I'm gonna have to show you next week, and at least you can now put into your head what's the difference between this gigantic WEKNIVES Solid and the smaller counterpart WEKNIVES Coral. So if you can't afford to get this one, because this one comes in, if you were to get it on the website, it's like $500, maybe a little bit more. On eBay, you could probably find it for like $450, $475, right around that there. I believe I even saw one brand new for like $385. The price does vary on eBay, but you will not find this knife anywhere for under $300, just to give you a heads up there. Other than that, excuse me. Other than that, that's it for this video. The WEKNIVES Solid coming at you. The one and only integral piece, I believe, that WEKNIVES puts out with a spring-loaded tab. They do have other knives on their site that are also one piece, that are not quite as big, but without the spring-loaded tab. I believe the Synergy 2 is one of them, all one piece, so you may want to check that knife out, which I don't have. Other than that, this is Omar, your South African knife guy, just out enjoying my backyard here, enjoying the sun, doing a couple of videos, production knife videos, and I will be back with a brand new knife next week, and more than likely I'll be coming back to do more on South African customs. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful and fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good day.